The 5 Kenyan farming ventures that most farmers have lost money into. Now, to jump on it, number 5 is rabbit yielding farming. Now, this was the art of farming rabbits, not necessarily for meat, which in most cases is profitable as long as you have market, but targeting the production of urine, which is used as organic fertilizer. Well, understand that urine, and especially rabbit urine, has high nitrogen and phosphorus, which boost crop growth. However, if you don't have enough market, it turns out to be a loss making ventures. Therefore, most farmers, most groups, most chamas gathered and started rearing rabbits and collecting urine. Actually, I know of a cooperative that was formed as collecting urine being their main aim. However, the main founder of the cooperative later vanished in the thin air, and farmers were left stranded with their urine. Remember, for you to join this cooperative, you had to buy some shares. It started as 500 Kenya shillings per share, and it grew up to 20,000 per share. This turned out to be a money collecting venture for the founders, but at the end of the time, farmers were given the repacked urine to go and sell and repay themselves. Most of them joined because they were promised heavy dividend, but in the long run, it never ended helping the farmers as intended. In the long run, farmers were left with their rabbits, urine, and they've already lost their subscription money. And at the end of the time, this rabbit, you couldn't slaughter them or sell them because by then the absorption of rabbit meat in the market was super, super low. The third one was silkworm farming. I know this one, most farmers tried it. Silkworm farming. Now, in an effort to diversify income streams, some Kenyan farmers turned their attention to sericulture, the cultivation of silk through silkworm farming. Now, the allure of producing these luxurious and sought after material prompted a wave of experimentation in the agricultural landscape. One of these ventures that most farmers are attracted to, they don't usually have that direct market link. It's not a product that can be consumed by a mass market. Neither is it a product that you can consume directly. Silk need to be processed. Not everyone buys. You cannot just wake up in the morning and decide, well, I'll take my silk to the market. But you see, some of these products are promoted by those who sell these worms, and they come up with all these sort of ideas of how you will make good money, how you'll make fast cash, how you don't need much space to cultivate it. But at the end of the time, what they want is you to buy the worm. Once you've bought the worm, they really don't care where you will sell your product. They also don't care whether you'll make a loss or not. So before you rush to some of these investments, just make sure that you have a direct market. You know who you will sell your product to, how much will they buy your product. Is it something that has a ready market, or it just depends with export? The second one, and one of the most interesting of farming that actually it's one of the most interesting camps that most farmers found themselves into, it's the chameleon farming. Oh my goodness. Most farmers found themselves in this farming, chameleon farming. And the main gospel spread was that it has some health benefit. It has huge returns when you sell these products. Actually, the main lie was that chameleon has big market in the pet trade and also in traditional medicine market. There are those people who keep chameleon as pets, and there are those, especially the humblest, who believe that they can extract some medicine from it, which it's still very arguable. But all this, it was a scam coined in such a way that someone sat somewhere and thought, well, I can start to sell chameleons to farmers. So what they did, they bought a few at high prices, and then farmers rushed to keep them, and they were buying even from others. And you see, they created a demand for you to buy, and in the long run, people were left making huge losses. Those who were promising to buy, they never turned up. Those who were selling, they never came back to buy the chameleons. And farmers were left super, super frustrated. And unless in Asian countries, unless in some parts of the Europe where they keep these chameleons as pets, the adoption of some of these reptiles as pets in the Kenyan market is still very, very minimal. So you cannot rely on that. But all the same, it remains one of the huge scams that Kenyan farmers ever found themselves into. Number one, and on top of the list, is quails farming. Now, most scams have ravaged the Kenyan agricultural industries, but this remains to be the huge and the biggest scam ever happened in the Kenyan industry. Those who came with the coin that quails are good, they came with the mindset of buying the eggs and selling the eggs to those who are suffering to arthritis or these chronic diseases. And the lie was that the eggs are super nutritional and that they will heal or they provide, and especially a big lie was that the consumption of quail's egg heals HIV/AIDS, which was a huge, huge lie. So at the end of the at the end of the time, they created an artificial demand. People rushed to buy these eggs, necessitating the need to produce more and inviting more farmers into it to start farming quails. At the end of the time, those who were first investors into it, they made some huge cash because the egg was retailing even 100 shillings, one single small egg. But as time went by and production and supply increased, the prices started to fall. I remember the egg price fell even to below 5 Kenya shillings. The birds' prices also fell, and at the end of the time, farmers were left very frustrated, and what they were left with is just to let the birds go and absorb the risk. Now, as we conclude, let us know the huge scam you've ever faced.